Hey folks, KILT-MAN here. KILT-MAN at your services. How are you all? Hope you're doing very, very well. John Carpenter is never too far away from the KILT-MAN channel, is he? Never, never. The guy retired from making movies many years ago. Played lots of video games, smoked tons and tons of cigarettes every day. Sold the rights to all of his movies and his characters, and remakes, reboots, retweaks, reimagining, sequels, threequels, prequels, sidequels, coming like there's no tomorrow. Yeah, we know the guy would sell his soul if he had one left. But he's still my favourite filmmaker of all time. And we have yet another John Carpenter remake, only it's kind of not. Right, what they're doing, and I've got to get the name of this guy, right? Evan Doherty, who did Snow White and the Huntsman and Divergent and Tomb Raider from 2018. He's written a script for a movie which he reckons is a remake of Assault on Precinct 13 from 1976, John Carpenter's seminal, inaugural classic. He did Dark Star, university movie, student movie making thing, which was outstanding. I love Dark Star. It's class from start to finish. Funny, clever, inspired. And then he did Assault on Precinct 13, which is a modern day Western. John Carpenter's favourite genre is Westerns. It's not sci-fi or horror, it's actually Westerns. And most of his films have a very Western feel to them, whether it be the characters or the scenarios, the set pieces. It is very Western inspired. But Assault on Precinct 13 is his loose adaptation of Howard Hawks' Rio Bravo. A fantastic John Wayne Western with a big star cast and a wonderful movie, which Howard Hawks himself remade twice more. He did El Dorado, the same sort of story, and then he did Rio Lobo, which is the worst one. That was 1970. These were like 60s earlier versions. But the idea is a sheriff or a lawman has to guard prisoners or even people who are wanted by even worse bad guys, and they hold up together in the jailhouse and have to defend themselves against hordes of bad guys. Now, in the case of Howard Hawks' movies, Rio Bravo, the actual siege is only one part of a much bigger movie. There's lots of toings and froings and other characters get involved. There's saloons, there's chases on horseback, there's tons and tons of stuff that goes on. Killings in the streets, setups and loads of things going on. And the same two sequel remakes that he did on the same theme had the same sort of issues outside. John Carpenter brought that down, whittled it all down to, well, I'm going to have a new guy who's got to take hold of it, and a precinct house in the middle of the worst part of LA, South Central, and oh my god, the gangs have took over. They've stolen tons of Armalite M16s and other automatic weapons in a huge haul. They're pure, anarchists. They are pure terrorist zealots, and they're taking over the streets. And they lay waste to that precinct house because there's a guy in there who killed one of their own warlords because he killed this guy's daughter in one of the film's most shocking scenes. One of those shocking scenes of 70s cinema is it's Kim Richards, one of two sisters, Kim and Kyle Richards, who did lots of movies together, Witch Mountain and The Car with James Brolin, The Car, and the ice cream van. She goes up, I ordered pistachio, this is regular vanilla, and she goes back to the ice cream van, and this guy, the ice cream vendor, knows there's a drug gang there who've got massive weaponry on them, and he gets shot. But as he's dying, You know, he sees the poor girl get shot. It's Frank Doubleday, who's a John Carpenter stalwart in lots of the earlier movies, and especially in Escape from New York, he plays Ramiro with the fright wig on, the Bride of Frankenstein fright wig, and the filed down teeth into fangs. Outstanding. And he stands there and with a Mauser, just a German automatic pistol, shoots it in the chest, shoots through her ice cream, blows her chest apart, and she drops down. And her dad sees that happen, runs down, cradles her dying body, and the dying ice cream vendor is like, in the glove compartment, and it's got little revolvers in there, so go after them, go and kill these bastards. So he does, and he does kill Frank Doubleday, this warlord, and he ends up in an almost comatose state. He will end up at Precinct 13, which has now got a bunch of prisoners in there who are en route to death row. But can we just stop here, let them have a piss, let them have a drink of water, or whatever, like, let them drink their own piss, who cares? And you know the story. And you got Darwin Jostin playing Napoleon Wilson, who is a notorious criminal, a Snake Plissken type criminal. He's got a legendary status, but he's got a code of honor, a code of ethics. And once all the shit hits the fan and the gangs descend upon this precinct house, they've got to fight together. The precinct house has got no other coppers in it apart from a couple of secretaries and an old sergeant. The old sergeant, played by Henry Brandon, who was in the Howard Hawks movie, The Searchers. The Searchers, which has Scar, the Comanche war chieftain, who commits atrocities. And John Carpenter, as I say, loves his westerns so much. He even names his characters after various characters in Howard Hawksian western movies and John Wayne movies especially. Lee Brackett is the writer of many of the western movies. He uses the name Lee Brackett a lot. Charles Cyphers plays Sheriff Lee Brackett in Halloween, and you have Laurie Zimmer plays Lee, who's the pneumatically breasted, fantastically Hawksian woman. I'm doing that because that's the way her bra is pointed. It's pneumatic. And she's awesomely sexy and takes no shit at all. And she forms an attachment with Darwin Jostin's Napoleon Wilson, who is on death row, but he's a hero as well. He will help them save the day. Without him, they wouldn't survive. And you have this wonderful roster of characters, good guys, bad guys, who've got to band together to fight off an even greater evil. And honour comes into it all. And it's wonderful stuff, it really is wonderful. And you got that in all the Howard Hawks movies. That's what John Carpenter was aping, that's what he's trying to do. So, we got a remake of Escape from New York in, when was it? 2007, 8, 9, something like that. Ethan Hawke was in it. If you've got something like this, raise it now. Here we go. It's Cruzcampo, folks. Cruzcampo. Cheers, y'all. And the remake, you had what's his name from The Keep? Oh no, I forgot his name now. Doesn't matter. Irish guy. Gabriel Byrne is in there as well. It's a great all-star cast. And their switch was, it wasn't a criminal gang who was coming to attack the precinct house. It was actually corrupt cops who had to go and get someone out and kill a witness or whatever it was. I wasn't a fan of the movie itself because I thought it was nowhere near as exciting as Assault on Precinct 13, 76, John Carpenter style. It just didn't have that vibe to it. But it was a nice take. Now, the point of this video is we've got another version of Assault on Precinct 13. Or have we? Paramount, is it Paramount Primal, which is a new offshoot of Paramount TV streaming and all that malarkey. They have got the rights now to do this thing by Evan Doherty, the guy who wrote Snow White and the Huntsman, Divergent and Tomb Raider, and it is, unbelievably, it's a medieval, dark age, supernatural, fantasy version of Assault on Precinct 13 called, I can't believe, the title of this is really, really bad. Tower Defense, it's called. Tower Defense. Now, I know that there is because if you Google Tower Defense now, you'll find that there's a kind of like a real-time video game thing, which is under the subgenre of Tower Defense. So okay, that's a game sort of ideology, but as a movie title, that's bloody awful. There are no script details. There's no director involved in this, but this is gonna go ahead. But everyone's made this big thing, bloody disgusting, and Dread Central and all other platforms and online magazine things have said like, oh, Assault on Precinct 13 is getting remade again as a medieval, dark, fantasy, supernatural epic. Which you're all going like, well, then it's not getting remade at all. How can that be a dark, medieval, supernatural fantasy with monsters and things? Yeah, well, that's what it implies. But the idea of a siege where you've got good guys who've got to band together with maybe bad guys and fight off an even greater evil, well, we've had it from Howard Hawks, obviously, for Rio Bravo, El Dorado, and Rio Lobo, and obviously John Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13. What I don't like is that people go like, well, you know, it's a remake of Assault on Precinct 13, which itself is a remake of those three Howard Hawks movies to a degree. What Carpenter did, he took the essence of the siege mentality. Those films have a lot more things happening out and around the jailhouse, so it doesn't depend entirely on a siege mentality, but he focused on that. So that's why his film is appreciably different than Howard Hawks, although it's got all the Hawksian elements to it, you know, and a take no shit, ballsy woman who can kick ass as well, wisecracking, overlapping dialogue. It's got all of that and a great gung-ho action. It's grungy. It's, you know, you've got good guys who are actually sort of the shades of grey there, and you've got bad guys who've also got like a bit of a code of honour and will step up and do the right thing. They might get hanged afterwards, like for the crimes they've done beforehand, but they will do the right thing during that situation. And that's pure Hawksian. John Carpenter took that, and now this new film is saying, well, we're basing it. It's a fantasy adaptation of Assault on Precinct 13, forgetting that Precinct 13 was based on Howard Hawks. But where are we going to go with this? Where are we going to go? I think this is loose enough to be, well, great. It could actually be fantastic. It could be. I don't know this guy at all. I wasn't a huge fan of Snow White and the Huntsman and all that. I wasn't. Although I do like Chris Hemsworth, of course, as you know. I wasn't a fan of Divergence either. And I never saw Tomb Raider, that version, so can't comment. But the idea of, if it's medieval, it's dark age, it's fantasy, it's going to be a castle. It's going to be a castle keep. And like, you're going to have, quite clearly, you're going to have heroes, knights, who are noble and doing the right thing, but they're going to need somebody who's also a bad guy, who's going to be in there as well to fight off against the evil hordes, the minions of Count Warlockian, the Nimrod. You know, they're gonna fight all dragons, perhaps. Can you think of another film that's done that? Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. You know, you've had sieges of castles and castle keeps in those two movies with fantasy monsters but real war siege-like activities. But another film comes to mind as well from 2013, I think it was, with the great James Purefoy, Ironclad. He's a Knight Templar fighting a King John, and the reneging on the Magna Carta. It's not historically accurate. There's a few elements which are right, but a lot of it's wrong as well. But it's a great medieval action movie with a siege mentality. They get into this castle, I think it's Rochester Castle, and they've got to fight off enormous armies of Danish Vikings. Apparently, they wouldn't have been fighting. They turned to Christianity well before this particular event. But in the course of the movie, it matters not, and there's plenty of blood, snot, violence, and chaos. Ironclad's a great movie. Got a good score as well by Lorne Balfe. But I'm playing Assault on Precinct 13. You knew I would. Of course I would. I'm duty bound to play nothing but John Carpenter. Cheers, y'all. And that has, they repel several attacks. Then there's a huge last stand. Very similar, really, to Helm's Deep, where King John and all his minions work out how to get underneath using pigs and blow the walls up and get underneath the foundation, bring the walls down so they can get in there. And it's quite nasty. They do get one guy, they cut his hands off him, and then using a trebuchet, they hail him at the castle keep walls, and he gets splattered against the walls. Yeah, that's what we've done to him. Imagine what we're going to do to you when we get in there. But it's a great film. So that's the first thoughts I had about when this got announced about 2 days ago, to my knowledge. Tower Defense. They've got to change that title. That's a game title, isn't it? That is purely, you think that's Tower Defense. It doesn't smack of movie relatable sort of imagery. Tower Defense, it's a game. But the first thing I thought was when I read, it's Assault on Precinct 13, but set in a medieval, fantastical, supernatural world. So I thought straight away, well, Ironclad meets Lord of the Rings. That's what it is. But there is something about the siege scenario which will work. You get your main characters. You've got a huge villainy. You've got to have a good, upstanding guy. In Assault on Precinct 13, it's Austin Stoker plays Ethan Bishop. Again, Ethan Bishop. Well, Ethan is a name of the Ethan Edwards is John Wayne's character in The Searchers, the Howard Hawks, and Carpenter was using similar names. But Ethan Bishop is a great Western name as well, and he's the young sort of green lieutenant. For me, he rides around the streets in his cruiser and all that, but he's been given a station house, a precinct to look after for one night. It's closing down, and they're just taking all the crap out of it. They're moving the next day, so that's it. There's skeleton crew in there, and then of course the prison bus arrives, and he has to look after these, put them in the holding cells and all that. And we'll look after him for a couple of hours. But then the gang besiege, and this poor guy's come in there, who's comatose, and they're coming after him. And to this piece of music here, the gang deliver the cholo, a big pot of blood wrapped up in a blanket with bloody slogans, and they throw it on the steps outside the precinct house, and they're all going what the hell was that? And Austin Stoker's Ethan Bishop just goes I don't know, but I think we're just being marked for something. But Tony Burton, who plays Apollo Creed's trainer in the Rocky movies, and then obviously trains Rocky in Rocky 4. He's one of the prisoners. He goes, oh God, it's the Cholo. I spent some time in a cell with one of those crazy bastards. But what does it mean? What does the mark mean? It means they don't care. It means they don't give a shit. It means they want to tear us apart. And that's what the gang do want to do. Because it's in Carpenter's hands, they're not individual characters. You meet some warlords, Frank Doubleday, as I said before, who then gets shot by the father of the poor girl, Kim Richards. And you meet some other ones, but they are basically a faceless, anonymous group of almost Night of the Living Dead style zombies. Night of the Living Dead, another great siege movie. You've seen what I put behind me here. Zombie flesh eaters, the siege in the hospital at the end of Flesh Eaters is outstanding. It's a siege. From Dusk Till Dawn, the Titty Twister, it's a siege within there. They're already in there, and they've got to fight off the hordes of vampires while they're in there. I didn't have many other siege imagery to put behind me, and no sort of Precinct 13 imagery at all, I'm sorry to say, which I'm surprised at. I thought I would have loads of posters, and I don't have them. Anyway. But the gangs in sort of Precinct 13 are so faceless. They don't speak. During the finale, when they get into they're in the basement, and cheers up. They've got acetylene tanks on the wall, and he's got a hunting rifle with a sniper sight on it. He's like, right, if I can hit that, I've only got 3 shots left, and they pull up a big metal barricade. And when the gang break the walls down, and you don't see it, but you hear it, and don't forget this is ultra low budget, but the effect of it is staggeringly good and very effective. You hear the mass, arr, arr, and the walls go down, and you hear the masonry crumble, and then suddenly, right, hope you had a good shot and all that, and it just hold this barricade up and hold them off as long as we can. The smoke fills the area, and he misses the first 2 shots, hits it on the last. But this gang is surging and pushing this barrier back. There's only 3 of them left at this stage, but they all survive. And he manages to hit the acetylene tank and blows the shit out of the corridor. The big metal barricade saves them, but kills off all the gang members. And the LAPD arrive en masse, and it's an outstanding conclusion. But they literally are like zombies, or even the orcs or the Uruk-hai in Lord of the Rings, because they're barbaric, they're savage. There's no reasoning with these people at all, and it kind of gives me a bit of with this new version, Tower Defense, they've got to change that. They've got to change that name. That is god awful. It's the worst title I've ever heard in my life. Tower Defense. I've got a great hope that it's going to be. Oh, I think they're going for an R rating, or have I got that confused with something else? No, I'm sure I've read that on one of these different sites. They're going for a hard R rating as well. So it's gonna be nasty. You can't. The Howard Hawks westerns, people get shot and there's blood on show. There's violence in them, but they're westerns, so they are endlessly PG rated. Even though you're backing people who are gamblers, alcoholics, womanizers, potentially rapists as well in some cases, and you're backing these people. Just saying, it's funny how values alter over decades. Anyway, but in this you could have really nasty stuff taking place. I'm hoping for. I don't want dragons. I don't want that. But if you're using this mentality, this idea of we're gonna fight to protect this place. This is our last stand against hordes of whatever who's coming at us. I'm hoping for orc-like things. Supernatural kind of throws a massive wobbler in, because you've got supernatural, then you've got lightning bolts, you've got entities, you've got all sorts of magic stuff taking place. And if that's the case, then this is not, anywhere near a remake of Assault on Precinct 13. I think they use that because John Carpenter's name is so synonymous now with remakes. You've had Halloween remade, The Fog got remade, they're trying to, the Thing prequel, they are trying to get the Thing to bloody John Carpenter himself at the Boston Fan Expo bloody teased it. He was taking the piss. It's not happening, folks. The Thing 2 isn't happening. And he got the crowd going. Oh, someone asked about the Thing 2 and he went, oh yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, well, got a few ideas, you know. It may happen. It may not happen. Who knows? Just throw, you know, it's like, you know, piece of meat to a pack of wolves. Just throw it to the crowd, throw it to the masses. Let them sort that out. Big Trouble in Little China, they're still trying to get that off the ground, the remake of that. Not a remake, it's a prequel. The last I heard, it was going to be a prequel to Big Trouble in Little China. With Dwayne, what's his name? The Rock, what's his fucking name? Dwayne something or other. They've been trying for the last 5 years to get that made. In fact, longer. And of course, Escape from New York. Oh dear God, Zack Snyder. And I've done tons of videos on this. So John Carpenter's name and John Carpenter's brand and all his products are up for grabs. Anyone can remake them, take them, retweak them, do whatever you want with them. He doesn't care. He doesn't care anymore. He's just making money out of it. That's all he's doing. So he'll be loving the fact that this crowd, this guy, Evan Doherty, and whoever else is involved in it, are, you know, openly citing, oh, it's a remake, it's a remake adaptation of John Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13. Because it's giving them added clout, it's giving them some extra wallop, isn't it? But the idea has been used so many times now. It's not unique to John Carpenter. John Carpenter himself ripped it off, well, adapted it from Howard Hawks. And it's been done before Howard Hawks as well. You've had people besieged in places. I mean, oh God, how many war movies about, look at Zulu. Okay, Zulu's based on a real historical event, but it's a siege mentality. And lots of like Robin Hood movies before then, Errol Flynn stuff. You've had people besieged in castles. You must save the princess, save the queen, save this, that and the other, save the jewels. And like fight to the last stand in the castle keep, up the tower. Fucking Vikings did it as well, you know. Oh God, Vikings, the Vikings, the movie. So it's not new at all. But I find it odd that they chose to single out Assault on Precinct 13, which means they grew up watching that movie, and that's the one, right? So you're gonna have heroes, bad guys who've got to act together, work together, and you're gonna lose good people, and you're gonna find out things about, you know, the good guys and the bad guys, which will illuminate them even further and create their bond. And that's what I'm hoping for. That's what Assault on Precinct 13 does, and Rio Bravo does exceptionally well. And you want action aplenty. Ironclad does this. Ironclad's a bit more sort of, there is betrayal in there. There's massive betrayal in there. But our Ironclad group of major cohorts who, well, James Purefoy, what's his name in it? I can't remember now. Marshall? Is it Marshall? Something? There you go, Marshall. John Wayne always plays a fucking marshal, doesn't he? Or a sheriff or whatever, or a Texas Ranger. And James Purefoy's character's name is Marshall. I'm sure it is. A Knight Templar who stuck a vow of silence and celibacy. And he breaks both those vows in the course of this movie. As you would, because, I forget who the woman is in it, but yeah, you would. Yeah, of course you would. And Ironclad's a great movie. It's not a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination, and it does fit this scenario completely, but it has tons of blood, snot and chaos, and it's in your face. It's not historically accurate. It gets a lot of things right. It mentions a lot of people who were around at the time and were involved in this. And with Rochester Castle, you had a cathedral, literally, it was next door to a cathedral. In the film, the castle is completely on its own and can be besieged all the way around for a long time. In reality, it was in the town itself, like, you know, so it wasn't like you could get food and stuff like and supplies. But I recommend that. I recommend Ironclad, and I recommend all the Howard Hawks, well, Rio Bravo especially. El Dorado has got a lot going for it. Rio Lobo is a very lazy sort of, I think it was Howard Hawks' last movie. But he did what he's done so well before. It's a man of honor defending his jailhouse, his townhouse, his saloon, his whatever, with a bunch of disparate other stragglers against hordes of badasses. Again, it's all about honor and integrity. You're pretty fancy, Wilson. I have moments. And this is where Assault on Precinct 13 comes in. Those characters, I would say, are more indelible and more impactful and memorable than what even John Wayne, Howard Hawks, John Wayne the Duke did. And Dean Martin was in there as well, and Ricky Nelson. Fucking great people. But Assault on Precinct 13, because it was 70s, it's hard, it's more nihilistic. It's about street gangs taking over. It's terrifying. Could this happen? Well, it damn well could. And, you know, South Central, the gangs erupted. Carpenter always saw what was happening. He took on board what was happening right now, and he just looked just slightly ahead. You think about Escape from New York, which I always do, and I'm not going to bore you with all that, but that was so prescient. Everything he said in that, almost everything, you know, crime rate in America, planes crashing into, well, if you believe it or you don't, but the ethos behind it is the same. Planes crashing into America, World War III, America, MAGA, everything, police state, Big Brother. He nailed that. And PTSD, and of course, returning troops, turning outlaw because the government would turn their backs on them and give them nothing in return for their service. So Snake Plissken was like, well, fuck you then. I'll rob banks. You train me. I've got super skills now. And I'm going to just live my own life. You know, don't give a fuck about your war or your president, you know. It's outstanding stuff. And the thing is, Ironclad's very similar as well. Knights Templar suddenly had no reason to be. Who are we fighting for? Oh, we're now backing the French. The French are going to come in and save us after signing the Magna Carta and being betrayed by John. And now we're going to... it's all very... You can see how it's a story rife with... it can be done time and time again. Just reinterpreted. So I'm always against remakes and reboots and that, like, but this is not. It's none of those at all. It may cite Assault on Precinct 13 as being its influence, but that itself is. There's been so many films and stories and real events to back that up. You can do any variation on it, and this one's medieval and supernatural. So, you know, it'll be the characters who come into it. A good guy, you know, he's a knight, you know, and he's, you know, look, Sir Plisken, you know, Sir Pliskenus. Just want you to you know, the hordes of the Dark Lord are sweeping across the forest to the east, but you know our armies will fight them there. But just the princess is now, you know, in that castle keep, that tower. Can you just look at? She's got long hair, super long hair, longer than yours, Mr. Kurt Russell. Can you just go in there and guard her for one night? One night with a K for one night without a K. Can you guard it? Pick, you know, your chosen few, your magnificent seven, and you can guard her for the night. And the fucking the horde of bastards have diverted using supernatural magical powers, and they've fucking swept there. So it's a gallant last stand to protect her. I've given you the fucking plot there, haven't I? Make it so. It sounds good, doesn't it? But of course, at the same time, a cortege of like prisoners, you know, we're gonna take these down to old London town and all that. Like they're the worst of the worst, but you know we've got to hold up here for the night. Storm's coming in, and like it's that. And you'll have one notorious bad guy, the Napoleon Wilson, the Dean Martin of characters, and like, well, he'll be the one that will unchain him and let him fight beside us, and he'll be as heroic as our good guys. There you go. That's the film for you. Don't give it no dragons. Don't be doing that. I don't want no dragons. I want hordes of beastly-looking barbarian bastards clawing up the walls, sort of like a I Am Legend style, like fucking horrible. Send in the berserkers, and they're whipping him into fucking frenzy. Tower defense, folks. Most of what I've just said there about any potential plot of this movie, I've made up because I don't know it. But if they're saying it's an adaptation of sort of Precinct 13, then we're already there. We're already in the ballpark. Good guys, bad guys, hold up together. Got to fight off an even greater evil. There you go. And it could work because it's worked so many times before. It's almost an infallible scenario to put into a movie. Right, folks, pick the bones out of that while I have another swig of this stuff. Not bad, you know. But Carpenter, he's loving this. He's loving it all. He is just lying back on his fucking his gaming chair and like, whoa, yeah. I've got rheumatoid arthritis, I've got lung cancer, my hair's fucking dropped out, I look like a skeleton, but I'm making loads and loads of money. Sell all my characters, sell everything. I love the guy to bits. But let me know what you think. Comment below, let me know what you think about this. This will I've got no doubt this film will happen. But for God's sake, change that title. Tower Defense. I mean, it's just me. That's utter shit. Tower Defense. Tower Defense. Fuck off. Tower. You've got the tower and defense. The garden fence. The back fence. The front fence. The front gate. Don't call it that. Assault on the no. Oh God, there's the other one as well. Assault on the block. You know, the London-based aliens kind of thing. Assault on the block. You had it again. You've had it again. There's no end to it, folks. I'm kind of going to give up condemning these things now because I fight a losing battle, aren't I? They're going to keep churning them out left, right, and centre regardless. Oh, that film was good. But way back in 1963, let's remake it. Oh, it's been remade several times. Doesn't matter, it's obviously worked. If people have remade it before us, then people are going to see it. We'll remake it again. And again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Let's turn the music up a little bit. But we'll finish on a final flurry of this truly, truly bloody awesome theme. Regular viewers know I always do this with this soundtrack. The second wave. This is where the gang start moving park vehicles forward, using them as cover. And they realise that you've got to get the prisoners out of the cells because they're coming through. Prisoners get killed, the cops trafficking gets killed, including Charles Cyphers. And but Napoleon Wilson, he's fucking brick hard, him. He does the great break arm. He gets one guy. They break through the sewers, whatever, into the cell block. And he breaks this guy's fucking arm and goes him by the throat and fucking hurls him high against the bars. Boosh! Back breaking, spine snapping, fucking drops him. Laurie Zimmer as Lee Brackett, like she shoots at one and he shoots at her and hits her in the arm. Yeah. And he comes up and puts the gun to her face like that, like, that's my finger, Kevin trigger. Like that, let's do it like that. And she does a karate chop, boosh, across his face, and then hoofs him in the bollows. Ooh, please. One of the greatest kick in the bollocks in cinematic history. He goes, and fucking goes down. And then they get out, and like, Austin Stoker, it's a deserted police station, but there's weapons there. There's weapons in crates. They get the weapons out, and it is slightly annoying. I'll be honest. The weapons, they're armed. There's bullets in them. Straight away, the shotgun has got shells in it. The big sort of sniper rifle, hunting rifle, I should say, that Austin Stoker uses. The bullets are in straight away. It's like, oh, why would it be? You wouldn't leave it out and put it in a crate like that. It's like they knew. But he throws a shotgun to Darwin Jostin as Napoleon Wilson. And as these cunts break the door down, and he goes, boom, 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 boom. Fucking blows them all away. And he just goes, and just turns around. And I'm on death row. You've given me this. And his look of triumph it's outstanding. And then you get the second wave. After that happens, suddenly the windows. Tony Burton says, the one from the Rocky movies, the windows, which will happen right now. I've talked about the soundtrack a lot. It's primal. It's jungle. It's like bamboo, wood reeds, and then they suddenly start coming through the windows. And the thing is, I said before that they're like zombies. You've got the plastic fucking louvre, whatever you call them, with blinds. That's the way I'm on the board. And they just come through and stick their heads through, like, no, and they get heads blown off, like. And you get this train sort of siren. Looks like a cat there, didn't I? You can hear it there, can't you? I've got a siege of my own taking place. But listen to that. It's so searing and intense. And that beat is so infectious. I love all Carpenter's movies, soundtracks, all his scores, but this is, the score for Assault on Precinct 13 is by far the best, the most emotive, the most immediately grabs you by the balls and goes, you come with me, I'm going to do a forward roll, if you don't come with me, your balls will get ripped off. That's what this music says to you. And of course, poor Julie, Nancy Stevens, is it Nancy Stevens? I've forgotten it. She's in Halloween as well. she's been shot. In the crossfire, she's been killed as well. So this is like Carpenter's sort of sad theme. So folks, this was really a rather impromptu celebration of Assault on Precinct 13, as if we needed any excuse to celebrate it. But because this film is now citing Assault as being its major influence, we're remaking Assault on Precinct 13. Like, I was like, what? No! Oh, but it's set in the Middle Ages and it's in a castle and it's supernatural and fantasy. And I'm like, well, so your connections are what exactly? But as I've just said, quite pointedly throughout this video, that scenario can play into any adaptation. And if they're basing it on this, then you're going to have a Napoleon Wilson style character, a notorious criminal warlord, tribal chieftain, whatever, who will have to then fight alongside his former enemies, and they'll form a bond, and integrity and code of honor will come into place. And I'm afraid those stories are timeless. Those stories will always work. And the fact that you're relocating it from the Wild West of Howard Hawks, from mid-70s gangland, war-torn South Central LA, to a medieval Dark Age castle and keep. Well, I'm up for it. I'm up for it, folks. Change it all. This is nice as well. Listen to this. It's a strange scene in a movie, to be honest, because Wells, that's Tony Burton's character, he manages to go through the sewers and come up through a manhole and hotwire a car. And he's gonna get away. He's like driving off like, and then suddenly on the back seat, Michael Myers style, one of these fucking gangland knobheads just goes and sits up behind him, and then puts a gun to his head and shoots him. He's driving the car. Again, it's one of those nightmarish sequences where I think, well, does this guy sit in the back seat know if I kill him, he's going to crash the car and I'm probably going to die as well? But that gives this gang the cholo and all that. And don't forget, these are combined gangs. These are Hispanics, Latinos, they're Black Africans, and they're white, just fucking Nazi fucking warlords. But they all come together. It's inclusivity, and they're all there. What's their end game? It's pure anarchy and rage. But this guy, he kills the driver. The car's going to crash. He's going to die as well. It shows their absolute frenzied, drugged up, rage. It's almost like 28 days later. They are just on a rage sort of attitude. Kill and don't stop killing until you're worn out or you've been killed. That's why Assault still works, because it's nightmarish. It is almost like a Night of the Living Dead nightmare scenario. They're not just like punks and gangs. They become something far greater, far more demonic, a force en masse who are just consumed by rage. Carpenter saw this, and of course you've got this sort of stuff on the streets and have done for decades now. Gangs causing absolute mayhem, bedlam, and frenzied attacks on innocent people, and you get the terrorism angle as well. But the thing is, it also echoes that. Even before we got terrorist atrocities on our streets all around Europe, America, and certainly in the UK, Carpenter saw this idea of people who just consumed with a violent tendency to commit atrocity. He saw it coming. It's powerful stuff, folks. It is. Carpenter, although he'll never admit it, he'll never say, like, you know, I looked into a crystal ball and I saw the future. I looked into a big cylinder with swirling green liquid in an abandoned church in LA. Yeah, the film I hate most of his, but anyway, good idea, isn't it? But it just clumsy execution. Anyway, here we go. That's our guys retreating to the basement with the big metal barricade. But I'm going to go on to the final track, which is the main theme, but kind of remixed, given a bit more propulsive beat, and goes on a bit longer as well. So we'll end on this. There never needs to be an excuse to play this music or talk about John Carpenter's movies, but we found one anyway. Lots of you know, bad characters can come good in certain situations. I know it's first hand as well, but they're saving their own bacon, but in so doing, in a conflict, in a siege, well, not necessarily even a siege, but if you and they are suddenly, we're in a deep shit here, you're apprehending me, but they're gonna kill me and they're gonna kill you as well. Get out of here, or you're fighting with me, you know. And I know this firsthand. Oh, you're never gonna be friends, but you found a common ground. I won't survive if you don't survive, so together we've got more of a chance. And this is the crux of it. It's a great finger pointing exercise in mentality and sensibility, and like, would you ever bond with the worst criminal ever, especially if it meant, you know, they could save your life? And also, would you leave even someone as heinous as a mass murderer, would you leave them to die in agony on a street, and you could help them as a human being? Yeah, I'm afraid, folks, it plays in the mind, but you act on instinct, nobody likes to see someone in shit. And Napoleon Wilson does say, you know, there's two things you never run from in life. One is another guy who's wounded and can't run with you, and the other is, and he looks at Lee Brackett, Laurie Zimmer, because they formed a romantic bond, and he just looks at her. He goes, the very least of our worries is we haven't enough time. Yeah, time, I haven't got much time, you know, or whatever he says, like, story of my life, whatever he says, like. But he is Darwin Jostin, who's also in The Fog for John Carpenter. Didn't do a great many movies at all, like, but he's absolutely riveting as Napoleon Wilson. And you don't get to find out why he's called Napoleon Wilson, you know. But his stature as this arch you know, bastard is renowned. And yet he quite clearly isn't the bastard that you think he is. He is a man of honour and integrity, strength and resolve. And he won't leave anyone in the shit. He will do it, he'll die defending another person. How many of your friends will do that? How many? Seriously, how many? Yeah. You don't know, do you? You don't know. You've got to have been through shit to find out what people will do for you. And if it's training, if it's instinct, that's fine. But if it's honed into you. On the streets, who are your friends? Even family will stand beside you when it really, really goes tits up. You'll find reinforcements in the most unlikely of places. And again, this is what Hawks and John Carpenter were saying to us. Well, Kilty, you've done almost an hour-long video about a film which hasn't even happened yet. It's just an idea. It's an idea. It's been written with a really bad title. Oh God, let's get on to him. What's his name again? I forgot his name again. Evan Doherty, or is it pronounced Doherty? It's GH, so it's Doherty. That title's god awful, mate. Change that. Assault on the Keep. No, don't call it that. That's even worse. But tower defense is bloody awful. Right, folks. I have been, and always shall be KILT-MAN. So please, in the meantime, as ever, like bond with your enemy to save your own ass in between time. Please keep it kilted, keep it Celtic, and keep the keep. And I'm going to see you all. And it's one of my favourite Precinct t-shirts. Look at that. That's fucking mean ass, isn't it? That's great. Alright folks, I'm out of here. Ta-ra. But do comment below and let me know what you think about all of this. Or just shoot the shit. I don't care. Say what you want.